Welcome to A+ Sim Racing. I'm your host Ken, and in this episode of Praga Hotlaps, we're taking the Praga R1 to the streets of Macau. The Grand Prix of Macau is known for a few things. First of all, close racing. Second of all, high-speed turns, lots of battles and door scraping, bumping, and of course, lots and lots of wrecks. But before you can crash at Macau, first you have to learn the circuit. The first sector is pretty easy. Mostly the long straights flat out, then you get a 90-degree turn, and then you get some more difficult turns. And then sector 2 gets even harder. And then it gets even harder from there. There's a whole lot of turns that you have to remember. Some of them kind of look alike. And the road is bumpy and the camera changes throughout the entire time. And then the difficulty peaks at the very, very tight hairpin, and then it gets easy from there. The hairpin at Macau is really difficult to do. It's a permanent yellow flag, so there's no passing once you get into the braking zone for the hairpin. And it's one of those things where no matter how many times I've done a lap at Macau, I still haven't really got the hairpin down. I'm still hit or miss, once in a while I'll luck out and get a nice clean hairpin, but usually I'll either hit the wall or I'll miss the turn-in and then hit the wall. And like I said, hit or miss, and sometimes both. Well, let's hop into the driver's seat of the Praga R1 and take a first spin around Macau. So here we are at the final turn of the track. You want to make sure you maximize your exit, because after you come out of that turn, it's all flat out through this straight, a flat out left-hander, another straight that's all flat out, all the way to the end to a flat out right-hander, down another straight. So there's a lot of high-speed section where you're not getting off the throttle at all. So you really need to make sure you get the best exit from the last turn that you can. And at the end of this straight is the first heavy braking zone. Look for the marker boards on the left, brake just before the 100, get down into second gear and go through this right-hander. Make sure you don't hit the wall on the exit. Don't go too fast because you have another slow turn here, which is a little bit faster than the previous. And now you want to keep on the throttle as you navigate this little twisty bit here and prepare for a brake and right turn here, and brake some more. Get down into the second gear, keep over to the left to open up the right-hander here. Careful not to hit the wall on the inside or the outside. There are walls everywhere. Ease into this left-hander and get down into second gear and get back on the throttle for the exit, and then prepare for another right-hand turn here. And now we have an easy left-right left. Stay in third gear and don't go too hard on the throttle because it is kind of bumpy. And now we get ready for another left hand in second gear. Watch the crest there, keep to the inside, and then it's another right-hander. Easy on the throttle because it is a bit bumpy. We go down the hill, there will be an easy left followed by a sharp right. It'll be second gear, get back on the throttle, get up to third gear, and then brake coming up the hill, get down into first gear for this tight turn. Easy on the throttle. This next bit is full throttle, but stay in third gear. There's a heavy braking at the end, and I did this really slow. I had a wide entry. I probably could have been a little bit quicker through there. And now we're approaching the hairpin. Keep over to the left, get down into first gear, and keep on the brake as you're starting to rotate. Get a little bit of slip if you can. That always helps. Otherwise, it's a little bit hard to get the rotation you need in there. If you don't get the approach right, it's going to give you a bad time. So from there, it's almost all flat out. So we come up to the end of the lap, get down into second, maybe third gear. I missed the apex on that turn, so it could have been a little bit tidier. And then we come up to the very last turn of the lap, go down to third gear, and try and maximize your exit, because after this it's all flat out through the next couple of straights. And that is a lap at Macau. So now let's follow along with the chase cam and see what that lap looks like from the outside. Alright, so following along the R1, you want to make sure that this turn has the best exit that you can, as I mentioned before, because this is all flat out, full throttle. Don't let off through these turns, they're plenty wide enough. Even with a car with less downforce can manage these turns at full speed. So down the straight, then we have another full throttle right-hander. And then at the end of this straight is where the heavy braking zone is for the first time in the lap. There's marker boards, brake just before the 100, get down into second gear, and then you want to be off the brakes about there as you're starting to turn in. Keep in mind these streets are very tight, and you want to leave a bit of room to not hit the walls, otherwise you'll invalidate your lap, damage your front splitter, damage your suspension, especially in these twisty parts here. I always try and use as much of the track as possible, but on a street circuit you really want to give yourself a little bit of space. And looking at my lap from this perspective, I can see there's some turns like this one where I could have taken it a little bit tighter. Maybe over the course of a race, those tenths of a second add up and they can make a difference. But at the same time, you don't want to get too close, like I said, and risk damaging aero bits, suspension. It might even make you spin out and lose positions. So this circuit is definitely one that demands patience and being aware and knowing where all the turns are by memory and not getting them mixed up, because that could just really ruin your race. And this turn definitely, I was way too wide on the entry. It could be much better than that. And now we're coming up to the famous hairpin. So we keep over to the left, get it slowed down, get as much rotation as you can, and get back on the throttle. That is the best I've ever done the hairpin. And the rest of the lap is pretty much flat out until you get to the turn at the end of this straight, and then there's another straight with a turn at the end of it, and that's it. So the very, very start of the lap and the very, very end of the lap are pretty simple. Gives you a chance to relax, and the rest of the lap is very demanding. And it can be exhausting over the course of an hour-long race, so keep that in mind. So that is a tour of Macau with the Praga R1, with as many notes as I can think of to put in there for you to pay attention to when you're learning the track, or trying to improve your lap time, or preparing for a race, or just cruising for the hell of it because it's fun. So I am definitely by no means an expert on this circuit. I don't have a whole lot of experience, only a few races with the Can-Am SimSport community. I think back when we were called North America RaceRoom a while ago. It was a lot of fun, but I got stuck in the hairpin like 50% of the time. You can see I just bashed the wall there on the way through. So that's definitely an area that I need to improve on. But this is such a really fun track, ripping through the city, the tight streets, the bumpiness, the walls, not seeing around the corner while you're going flat out. It's really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to the next race that I do in the Endurance Trophy Eastern Cup, where I'm driving the Praga R1 in the offline championship. The next round is at Macau, and that will be live streamed. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it this Wednesday. I'm not sure whether I'm prepared or not, but I was thinking about maybe skipping this Wednesday and doing it next week, but I think I'm going to stick to my routine and do it this week anyway, whether I'm ready or not. Because, in real motorsports, if you're not ready, you got to do it anyway, otherwise you miss the round. And this is for my simulated driver career, so the race is scheduled for Wednesday, so I'm going to do it. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you found it useful and informative, and thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.